Thank you very much. So I've only got a very short time, so I'll lash straight into it. And because I'm aware that carbohydrates are beating caffeine at the moment, I'm going to make it a little bit interactive, and I'm going to start with a question. The question is this: what does it feel like to write a bug? And you can use your ubiquitous body language if you want, if you don't want to shout out. So faces I'm getting here, this kind of fear, not liking it, kind of thing, very negative kind of things. That's what it feels like to write a bug. And, you know, that's a very human reaction to feel it's bad, whatever. It's very normal, very human. It's also very wrong, because what you're describing there, or what you're feeling with your faces and whatever, that's what it's like to discover that you have written a bug. That's when you get the JIRA, the QA person comes in, the system goes down, red lights flash, trains crash, etc. That's not what it's like to write a bug, because typically you don't know you're writing a bug when you write a bug. In my case, I'm usually quite exhilarated when I write a bug, because I think I'm fixing a problem. I think I'm doing something good. And that's basically, you know, that's a bit of a problem. And I have to say, obviously, I have written some shocking bugs. So, you know, I'm not here to tell you I have some magic to stop you writing bugs. I'm just telling you this is what we have. Now, the expectation is that the number of bugs you write goes down rapidly over time, tends towards zero. So you come out of college full of enthusiasm and warm beer, and as you get experience, straight down like that. Towards zero. We know zero is not possible, but that's the idea. And that's why we get paid the big bucks with experience. It's like, you know, wow, this guy's been programming for 6-8 months. He must be here. This is 5 years and so on. So that's the business expectation. But it's not the reality, because, and I'm only speaking for myself here, I'm not going to bring you into this, but my experience is, starts high, again, the warm beer and the enthusiasm, goes down, goes down, goes down, and it gets about here, when we've kind of discovered all the weird things about the programming language, the business domain, all the other weird stuff, kind of tails off. It's going like this and going like this and going like this, and like, what's happening there? What's that about? You know, I am going to be dead before I get to zero, because that has gone too flat. So I'm curious about that. What happened? So instead of just like living my life and whatever, I thought, well, okay, I'm going to investigate these bugs. I'm going to find out what's the story with them, their life history, how do they come to be, and what's their purpose. And so what I did, I kept a defect diary, which is a very strange thing to do. If you do this, don't keep it on your desk. Your boss will not be impressed. But you know, that's the idea. You keep a defect diary. Every time a new defect occurs, you take a note of it and you go, what caused this? What do I know about this? And so I've been doing that for a while, and I've discovered, well, 3 main things about bugs. The first thing is bugs like the dark. So early mornings, late evenings, and because we're in the northern hemisphere, winter. Bugs love that. You know, that's when you're going to get a lot of bugs. To avoid it, avoid those. Oh, sorry, very quickly. Second thing, bugs love adrenaline. And it doesn't matter if it's excitement or fear, they love that. And the third thing bugs absolutely love is boredom. If you're doing repetitive tasks, or if you no longer feel that your task is meaningful, bugs. And, you know, like that's a bit of a problem. And I'm an old man, so how are we going to fix that? Because, you know, I ain't got a lot of time to do that. So there's a bit of a problem. And it turns out there is a silver bullet. So I know that's not a good thing in this industry, but there is. And the silver bullet is something that's been popularized by a man called Atul Gawande, not an IT person, a very impactful person, but not very well known. But the silver bullet is this, the checklist. And what you do is, when you have found a new bug, you either create a new checklist or you amend an existing checklist to add the step that would have prevented that bug happening, right? Now, that's like really boring, right? Like, oh, Duncan, don't. It is really boring. That's the point. But because you've checked it off, it means you're forced to think about it. And to sell that to you, I'll give you an example of where it is used. So 2 days ago, I did something that was spectacularly dangerous, like ridiculously dangerous, which is I flew in an aluminium can at 500 miles an hour, 30,000 feet up above the Gobi Desert. Hugely dangerous, but not risky. Not risky because the aviation industry have embraced checklists. Like they have it everywhere. Pre-flight check, pilots check, every maintenance thing. They have checklists. And every time the aviation industry has a crash, they're quite dramatic, their crashes, they rewrite the checklist. So what I'm basically proposing to you is, if we want our industry to be as trusted as the aviation industry, we need to adopt checklists. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
We still have 1 or 2 minutes for questions.
I don't have a counter argument. I just want to make a comment. It's even more powerful if you do this as a team, because I did it some years ago with my team, and we were able to prove to ourselves that there was no such thing as an inherently difficult bug. It's just the bugs that stayed hidden longer, like memory overwrites and things of that nature. They were difficult because we had a mindset that the code was good 2 weeks ago, and now there's this bug. And that's only because it was an accident that we found it.
I totally agree. I'm
Yeah.
kind of biased against that because I don't work in a very big team, but I would totally agree.
Oh, yeah, if it's a big team, that's harder.
It's about the software or the system
Yeah.
or the whatever your checklist.
And also, I got the idea from aviation because I had gotten a pilot's license before, and I was doing all the risk analysis stuff.
Exactly.
Thank you. It was a great talk.
Okay, one more question.
I was wondering maybe 1 or 2 examples of a checklist item you made by a bug.
So yes, they're going to be controversial because they're my things. But for example, a new database table, I go through a checklist of, have I got a unique key, have I, all this kind of stuff. But then there's also stuff like a new field, a new database table. Is it an acronym? Because if it is, gone. Right, so my checklist is no fields are acronyms. I work in financial services. Financial services love acronyms, and they don't know what they mean. So it's true. I don't know what they mean. They don't know what they mean. The military will be the same, yeah. And I'm actually, ironically, aviation has a lot of acronyms as well. But that's that's by the by. But yeah, so things like that. But they are like it is a learning experience. That's what caused me a bug, an acronym. So now I have a checklist that says the field name is not an acronym. It's yeah.
Okay, give a warm applause to Duncan.